Canada's banks have launched their long-in-development blockchain technology aimed at ramping up the digital security and verification of their customers. A move they hope will keep it one step ahead of cyber thieves and hackers. Greg Wolfond is the Chief Executive Officer of SecureKey and joins us now with this new news out today. Welcome. Nice to see you
Thanks
again.
for having me. Yeah,
perhaps just describe what was actually accomplished today in terms of this ecosystem that you're creating with the Canadian banks.
So kind of exactly as you said before, people are fed up with these phishing emails, fed up with getting phone calls to say, hey, give me your data or you're going to go to jail kind of things, and they want to feel safer online. And what this is the major banks, Royal and TD and Scotia and BMO and CIBC and Desjardins. So BMO and National are joining later, but 7 banks launching with the telcos, with credit agencies like Equifax saying, I'm going to help make it safer for you to share your data online and make it harder for the bad guy to pretend to be you.
Okay, so how does the technology actually work, and what exactly is the product?
So generally the product is an app on your phone that uses all the security your banks have for logging into your bank, including your password, your face, what device you're on, all of that, in addition to services that let you show up at a site, say an apartment or a bank, and you want to prove who you are. You'll click on a link, and right away to your phone it will say, are you willing to share your name and address from TD Bank, for example, or Royal Bank? Are you willing to share that you actually have Greg Wolfond's phone? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to share your credit score with this landlord? And if you say yes and you've authenticated with your face and we know it's your phone and things, we'll share the data from those providers to where you want it to go with your consent, and only the data you want to share with your consent.
Okay, so a little bit more control in terms of you giving the data or allowing it to be shared.
So this is 100% kind of the opposite of where the internet's kind of gone, where everyone's got your data and uses it.
Interesting.
This is you being in control. So you consent, hey, are you willing to share your data? You're trying to get a loan. Are you willing to share your credit data? Are you willing to share that it's actually you doing this now with this party for this purpose? And it's every time you consent, it's very clear in English language, kind of follows the privacy by design kind of mantra. And then when you consent, only then is the data shared, and only you know where it's been shared to.
How is it that this is secure? How is it that it will work as how you're describing it? Because, you know, we've been operating in the polar opposite, thinking things were secure.
So this is kind of the trick of what we're trying to solve. It has to be easy for regular people like you and me to use it, but it also has to be secure. So when we say secure, when you go to credit cards, today we use a credit card that has a chip inside it. No one can have your card unless it has the chip, and you know your PIN. In this world, for someone to pretend to be you, they have to have your cell phone.
Okay.
And they have to know how to log into your bank, and that could be a password, and that could be your face. So all the security the banks use to protect billions and billions in wealth, plus checking with the telco, is it your phone, is the SIM in the device, has SIM changed, plus added features that come later this year, like turn on the camera and check you against your driver's license. All of that security in place to really know it's you. And then it's asking you, once it knows it's you, do you consent to share your data?
It's interesting in terms of the ecosystem then that you're building, because this is just one area of people's lives. There's healthcare, there's taxes, there's everything else. So where are we in that?
But that's the point. So the point is here, like we did a pilot with CRA earlier this year, and they loved the result. People could show up and prove who they are. They could share their data to a bank when you're trying to get a mortgage. They need to know the income. Instead of calling a call center, sending a letter to your home, you take the letter and take it to your bank. There has to be a better way for me to do this and more efficient. That pilot went really, really well. But any of these services, healthcare is a great one, right? My mom tries to use healthcare. Every site has a different password. Show up with your health card, prove who you are, log in again. Why can't she just take this app, put her face in front, prove it's her, and then see her records at UHN or see her records elsewhere where they're actually sure it's her? And that's the world we're moving to.
How fast?
So kind of like concierge. Like we launched 10 years ago the concierge service in Canada. You can use your bank to securely log into government, to see your taxes, your unemployment, your benefits. This will be the same thing. It'll take a little bit of time to go out. We're being very cautious. It took a long time to get this built. But you'll see more and more services adding where people want the trust and value. So give me my credit score inside the app. Alert me when things happen. Be able to show up and rent an apartment or get a bank product, a credit card or a mortgage. Be able to get a telephone. All those things start to get easier and better, less time and more security.
Greg, how do you implement this in consumers' minds? I just started using a mobile app for Starbucks.
Okay.
and it took me 2 days to kind of get it all. I know,
yeah.
frightening. It didn't actually work, but I know it works. But
yeah.
anyway, how are you going to encourage consumers, my age and older, to start doing this and putting an app on their phone?
So I think people are kind of nervous about what's happening on the internet and apps like Facebook sharing my data, all these places. I don't even know where it's being shared. But for things like visiting the government or things like seeing my health records, we want to be secure. We don't want someone knowing where we're going. We don't want anyone else to see our data.
So the big items.
So the big items, if we can get to the things that matter to us, I want to see my health records. I want to be able to share my data. I want to be able to open a new mortgage. I don't want anyone else putting a mortgage on my house. I'd like to be able to lock the title ultimately on my home and not let others do it unless I say it's okay. So the whole idea is this is about consumers in control, and you can protect it. You don't have to use it. Those who don't want to opt in and use the service, they don't have to. But those that want to, because they want the convenience and don't want to go take their driver's license to a bank branch and prove where they are and wait and get that done, it's better. Those who want to see health records online, our belief is if I can prove it's really me, if I can prove I can log into my bank, I have my cell phone, and I have this health card, why can't I then see my health records? So we can deliver results online and not go down and line up and wait for hours to see the doctor to find out the test was fine.
Right.
Like, some of this stuff is just archaic and it's really expensive on the system. So we think there's billions of dollars of efficiencies if we do this well.
What other companies out there might be doing this already in the United States, in Europe, where have you?
Canada's kind of ahead. Like, I think in this world where you have banks and telcos and government saying, let's cooperate and work together to make citizens safer, Canada's kind of a leading edge. We're leading with concierge, saying let's make it safe and privacy bound. The bank doesn't know what service you're going to. The government doesn't know what bank you chose. That mantra that was kind of set by the federal government, we're trying to continue that kind of mantra. So I think Canada's ahead of most places in the world in what we're doing here.
And you've been doing this for over 10 years.
10 years in the space, for sure.
Quick question. Any thoughts on an IPO going public?
No thoughts now. Right now, we're heads down on getting the service going. Lots of inbounds from other places in the world who say, wow, what you guys are doing in Canada is amazing. So I think you'll see some great traction for this notion that we're building, this service that we're building, and thrilled to be launching it.
Okay. Great to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. That's Greg Wolfond. He's the Chief Executive Officer of SecureKey.